growing way, banks are under constant pressure to stay one step ahead of such banks' digital systems, data, and networks from security threats. Banks now manage enormous amounts of consumer financial data, personal breaches, fraud, hacking, and other forms of cyber.
Cybersecurity securing the entire digital infrastructure of a bank, from online banking system to internal databases against unauthorized access, data leaks, and malicious attacks. Effective IT security for banks is critical for maintaining trust, compliance, and operational stability in an industry increasingly targeted by cyber and reputation. Trust is the foundation of banking relations. Any breach can shatter that trust, leading to customer attrition and long-term reputational damage.
Cyber attacks or data breaches can quickly make headlines, and the public's perception of a bank can shift overnight. Strong cybersecurity measures are crucial for maintaining trust and ensuring customers feel safe conducting transactions and sharing sensitive information with their bank. Regulations banks must adhere to strict data protection and cybersecurity compliance standards in the financial industry, which is heavily regulated. The General Data Protection Regulation (GDPR) in Europe and the California Consumer Privacy Act (CCPA) in the US sets guidelines for how banks must handle and protect customer data.
Non-compliance with these regulations can result in hefty fines, legal costs, and a loss of operating licenses. By implementing robust cybersecurity practices, banks protect themselves from cyber threats and ensure they meet these critical regulatory requirements. Preventing financial loss. A successful cyber attack can lead to significant financial loss for banks. This may include funds being stolen directly from accounts, costs related to system downtime, or the repairing damaged systems. Moreover, banks may be held liable for compensating customers affected for cybersecurity solution. Proactive defense mechanisms such as AI-driven threat detection can prevent attacks before they lead to consequences.
Protecting critical infrastructure, including online banking platforms, ATMs, and payment processing systems, is a primary target for cyber criminals. A successful attack on these systems could lead to operational disruptions, making customers unable to access their funds or conduct transactions. What are the measures to put in place to protect our financial institutions and customers from these cyber threats and crime? What is multi-factor authentication? Do we have any policy on ground for financial institutions, security, and many more will be discussed in the program today as we host fellow Chartered Institute Bankers of Nigeria, CIBN, Ogun State Branch. Mr. Arokun, good morning, sir.
Good morning, moderator. Thank you for having me.
All right, and before we continue, let's quickly go on this break. Arokun, we are glad to have you in our studios this morning.
Thank you very much.
So, this cybersecurity in banking, what are the most common cyber threats facing financial institutions today?
Thank you very much. Before I go into that, let me once again appreciate UGBC being one of the best institutions in Nigeria that are always coming up with informations and enlightenment programs that are very much informative and that will give confidence in the industry generally, whether it's banking or sectors. OGBCs are being in the industry now, in the banking. As you might have known in your introduction, you mentioned a lot of threats that can affect customers' information in the banking. Gone are the days when you have informations related to each bank alone. Now, talk cyber um, and then customers, not even in the bank alone, even in the other sectors too. Now, because of the fact that banks keeps information about money, and you know that a lot of attacks are coming up, malware attacks, DOS, that is delay in operating your system. A lot of attack that comes up, and then of the ways, looking at a way they can get customization, able to probably get, out of the bank, and mostly, it's involved banks. Fund, is involved, and they make money quick. Involved in ensuring that a lot of investment are being put into cybersecurity to ensure the safety of their information, the safety of their customers' information, and to ensure that customer services are being delivered effectively as at one day.
Okay, I will still have as guest Mr. Isis Arokun, who is the chairman, Institute of Bankers Association of Nigeria. And okay, now let's look at this. You talked about the number of cases that was recorded last year. Now, how do banks check their vulnerability to cyber attacks or cyber threats?
Right, that's what I'm trying to explain. That what bank does nowadays is to ensure that there are regular updates of their report of their data system. Some banks are going to employing cyber security officer in their banking system. Like we have chief security officer in most of the physical security. They need to identify cyber attacks on their system, and also be able to combat some of these attacks. It's available, and they know that it comes up every now and then. As soon as the bank is able to curtail an attack, the scammers will also come up with another threat from another angle. That is why banks nowadays involved in regular update of their computer system, and as well as to ensure that customers out there do not have what we call they are not vulnerable to giving information to those that are not yes that are not they are not expected to information out of the records they have in the bank. And banks are also ensure that their staff are well trained, and in the bank we call don't betray the trust. So most banks ensure that their staff are well trained and well giving information that are very much important for them to be able to limit themselves within the service of the bank, so that information that will lead to cyber attacks furthermore.
Now, you did say that some banks now employ chief cybersecurity officers.
Yes, yes.
All right. Is this one of the cybersecurity frameworks for financial institutions? Yes. What other or standards are they supposed to do?
Uh, Generally, there are, I wouldn't say there is a standard, but every institution, every organization that want to thrive want to ensure that they do not allow anything that will affect their services. That is why some of the banks go out, out of their way to ensure that they secure, their system from further attacks. I know that as soon as the issue of cybersecurity is being involved, and is taken more serious by government, I know that probably there will be regulations in that regard that will ensure that the banks will comply with, to ensure that informations are not being disseminated to people that are not supposed to have them, so that they will not be able to act on their system and get information that will lead to fraud or investment of funds of their customers.
These days it's more trending. You see, people calling different customers, telling them that okay, a particular code has been so that, and if this code is returned to them, they tend to hack into that person's account and do away with the money in that account?
Thank you very much. You see, to be able to have an effective and efficient cybersecurity in banking, it has to do with the customer. It has to do with the banks themselves and the staff of the bank. They employ, how knowledgeable, how what's their quality, are they vulnerable, to outsiders? Those are the things that the banks are also doing to ensure that they train their staff very well, not to give out information. But their customers, some of them are vulnerable to giving informations because of one thing or the other, maybe a promise from those scammers. And if you are looking for a way to make quick money, you may fall prey to their antics, and you give information. They will, because information are with you, they may not even have access to it. Even if they have some insiders, they may not even have access to information. That's why they will not use some gimmicks to ask you to bring out information. As soon as I'm giving you promises, bring maybe 100,000 naira, 200,000 naira, this is a platform that we're going to get it done, and all we need to do is for you to attend to this code. And banks are also aware of some of these things nowadays, and they are trying to ensure that those informations are being protected much more, so that they will not have access to them, so that the customer's money will be secured and safe.
Okay, still on employee training and awareness, how it play in mitigating cybercrime.
Thank you very much. That's why I said banks engage in a lot of training now for their staff. Have gone to a level that we have to move with the global trend. Now employ the use of what we call fintech, financial technology, to be able to give services to the public. Therefore, the banks are involving in giving adequate training. They now have IT department. They now have IT experts that review their systems regularly, to ensure that information are being protected. There are several ways banks have been trying to ensure that the customer information are protected. Some go ahead to have what we call double authentication password on your account. Before anybody can, the information is with you. So unless you give out the information as a customer, the scammers may not be able to have access to it. There are several, processes banks are taking, because the banks know that it definitely affect their service, affect the confidence they have, in the banks, if most of their funds have been taken away by scammers.
You talked about authentication. So
Yes.
how can banks implement multi-factor authentication and security for customer accounts?
Definitely, this is going on. Banks are you used to do that. They send information to you. They invite you. Sometimes they buy your account, which are personal to you. So if you no other person will have that code or that information except for you, unless you vulnerably give the information, some of their requests to ensure that your account is protected. Unless the customer is not available or is not willing to get that one done. But as soon as the bank send the information to you and you are able to put it on your account, no you outsiders will be able to account as that when they wanted to do that.
We still have as guest Mr. Isaac Arokun. We have been talking about cyber threats in financial institutions. How do banks safeguard customer data against phishing social engineering attacks?
Fine. Social engineering attacks is a situation where you give information, you give information to individuals, or people that are not part of your account details. The attacks have been around for a long time, because it's difficult to stop with the use of technology alone. So it has to be what you can do as a customer, to ensure that you don't reveal personal information, security mistakes by giving information on your account. protective, information or codes that will ensure that their accounts are protected as when they.
Okay, professionally,
Yes.
what codes or what information should a customer keep safe?
The codes that have access. Maybe OTP, maybe BVN, maybe NIM. Because the government is trying to ensure that informations of customers are being collected together now. Before you open an account now, they will ensure that you have to bring NIM. And if you want to do any transaction, they will feel that you have to give them BVN on your account. Those are information that are personal to you. You are not expected to give it to anybody. If someone calls, I'm calling from the bank, you have to go and verify from the bank. Because some of these scammers will call you. So I'm calling from First Bank. Your account, they will have probably know one or two of your information. Your name is so and the account number is so. Please, can you give us your BVN you want to do update on your account? If you receive such calls, you are expected to make sure that you go to your bank and verify that information before you respond online.
Okay, so Mr. Arokun, what technologies, such as AI and machine learning, are being adopted to enhance?
Gradually, AI and machine learning is a global trend now that is coming up, and that's why we are telling our student bankers why we go to school to educate them that try as much as possible to be more professional. But how banking is going now, there are some of the services that are being provided by individuals that AI and machine learning will be making use of. So therefore, there may be little or no man power that's required. So if you're a professional, you can give advice, services in the banking and finance industry. So banks are gradually coming on and getting into that now. So now you see some of information that way you to you individual giving responses again. So some of these things are what the banks are put in place in Nigeria now to ensure that the services are being provided in a way that cyber attacks will be prevented.
Well done, sir.
And customers from cyber threats. And we shall have as guest Mr. Isaac Arokun. He's a chairman, Chartered Institute of Bankers in Nigeria, Abeokuta branch, Ogun State branch. Okay. Now, what technologies? Okay, we've talked about the artificial intelligence part. Now, what protocols are established for secure online transactions and mobile banking? Nowadays, people go about with their mobile phones, with token, with their ATM cards. Everywhere, it's now a global village. Now, what procedures are in place?
Thank you very much. You agree with me that when some of these mobile uh, banks and POS operators, started, they were not that regulated. Because of what is happening in the industry, CBN had to come up with regulation to ensure that most of these mobile microfinance banks and all that, they have come under the regulation of CBN to ensure that the activities are monitored. Sometimes maybe probably you'll be aware that maybe microfinance like OPay, Money Point, sometimes their operation was suspended by CBN to ensure that things because they are what we call in banking KYC view that probably some of these now may be used by maybe to perpetrate crime and move funds to unauthorized areas of CBN now, and CBN eyes on them to ensure that their operations in the industry. So in time goes on, I know that informations comes with regulatory. As soon as CBN see that there are other things that they need to put in place to ensure that services are the banks, the customers are protected, they also go ahead to do that. So we have a lot of operators now that are have been able to get customers out there, like trying to give a faster service. And some of the informations that you give online may be detrimental to your personal savings and fund the other banks. So it's part of what my insurance is also doing to ensure that adequate advocacy and public awareness given to the public to ensure that they safeguard their information.
Okay, cybersecurity in banking, measures to protect financial institutions and customers from cyber threats is our focus on this program this morning. And we have as guest Mr. Isaac Arokun, FCIB, Chairman, Chartered Institute of Bankers in Nigeria, Open State Branch. Now the lines are opened. You also can make your questions known to our guest this morning, 0803 479 and 0815 032 0226. Hello, good morning.
Hello,
Hello,
good morning.
good morning, sir.
Oh, good morning, good morning, I actually don't want to go to show.
Good to have you, sir.
So, my question is actually with the from our first response. Yes, I want to collect ask if possible for any cyber crime, any starting to put this back without an insider, giving community with some other people. For example, let's mention that that's better call. And they say, oh, they have so. We have an account, so. Like what that so, and it's something like that. Or, I'm not saying you have to be listening to, moving it up to lots of something. It's possible for any outsider to have access to information of the customer without an insider. That is my worry. I want to be assured. There are many people like that. I want to be assured that it's possible for this to happen without finance and I understand that. That is my neighbor. So sometimes we say hospital, people give something like that. So I think that even the machines, even the what you call that machine, we must have some some information. We have to say that this I don't want to do many names. It's online practice something that the new institutes they have to destroy the thing of the customers. Please assure me that it's not you that there is an insider insurance. I see that for the insurance.
Thank you, Adebanjo. Your reaction, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, Adebanjo. It is possible. Informations about banks' account details sometimes can be gotten outside the bank. The customer may be carefree. We call it contributory negligence. The man, the owner, probably may have his information left maybe on the table, and maybe where he's working, some of the staff are able to get it and they send it out. I've seen instances where signatures are forged by informal checks signed that give it to people that will forge the signature. Sometimes the information that are given, fine. I do not rule out the fact that there may be insiders. Sometimes that's why the bank are now giving more training, their staff to ensure that their mind will not inducement for them to give out information. So that's why the bank is doing their best to ensure that it is two to tango. The
Morning, Ma.
Good morning.
Say hello to your guest.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
We all know that we have access to every sector. From friends that belong to banker economy, friends. Want to customers, staff, your banker staff that are working with come out. How can somebody know your PIN, know your first name, or your name? Even some know your BVN number. And they will call you and be telling you stuff. So I have never fall victim of that. But that's just like, how can you get to fish out all those bank details from bank? How do you want that?
Thank you so much, Mrs. Olurati Ojelade.
Thank you very much, madam. I appreciate your question. Like I said before, it is possible to have bad debts in the banking industry. Like we really putting banks to reduce casualization in banking, so that you train bankers and those that are working in the bank for them to know banking is their profession, banking is their career work, so that they will not feel like, oh, I'm just working here for the meantime. So as soon as they know that, they would, the issue of reducing those that are vulnerable to giving out information will go a long way. We to identify them is not that difficult. By the time you probably look at who you are put to work on the desk, and looking at information that have been given out, you'll be able to know that such people in that department need to be replaced or need to be removed. So from time to time, bank does what we call staff audit. They will do audit of the staffs to know who is performing. I believe going forward, the bank will do more to ensure that we bring in more professionals, more of those that want to take their banking agenda, and ensure that they will protect that profession rather than giving information.
Now, sir, as a way of enhancing security, how do you think banks can collaborate with government agencies and cybersecurity firms?
We relate with government a lot, and most of the time we have courtesy visit, collaboration visit to government agencies. For us in Ogun State, um, made several visit to several government departments, commissioner of trade and investment, and others. Those that have to advise them, to also give them ways that we believe they can then transact with the bank effectively. So, as to government for them to have maybe a robust regulation for cyber, security in Nigeria that will enable them to give banking services without and if they develop a cyber security culture. Um, want to go along with that.
We take female calls before we call it a day this morning. 003 437 9453 and 0815 032 Okay, this question. How are regular security audits?
That maybe for the next few hours, we are going on our system audit, consider update. They will appeal to customers to bear with them within that period. And the account and information of the customers in the bank are further protected. Then we conduct what we call background checks on the employees to ensure that so none of them is vulnerable to giving up information. Then we can also establish, a response team, quickly respond to any information that we had out there that may affect, security, the cyber security of your system in the bank. Then we can also, educate our customers, on cyber best practices so that they will not be vulnerable to scammers.
Okay, so let's take a look at encryption. What encryption methods are used to protect sensitive financial data at rest and in transit?
Yes, like I said, information and financial data are customers' information that need to be kept, strictly confidential. Like in a bank, we used to say that don't betray the duty of secrecy. The duty that between you and the bank, no other person. So banks, in recent time, because of several attacks, like I said, they update their system and they ensure that the information of customers are protected, even if we are being transmitted. Internet global information for everybody, depending on how we're able to by people that are not supposed to happen. So banks are putting a lot of measures. Sometimes they deploy other softwares that will prevent a software attack from on the system.
Now, looking at the communication strategies. Now, what's are the
Communications is by having communication, contacts of the customers, email, the telephone numbers, and informations. There need to be feedback from the customers for you to know that the informations are being received by the customer. And that's why I'm saying that need to be the banks are doing what called regular update of their system to ensure to know the level of responses to what information they have sent to their customer to prevent their information on the system.
All right, 0803-437-9453 or 0815-032-0226. Now, Mr. Arokun,
Yes.
what would be of fraudulent activities? They don't fall prey, they don't lose their hard-earned money. What would be your advice for them?
Very much. My advice is just simple. I've been part of what I've been saying that customers there should not give their information to outsiders. To be between you and your bank. Don't deal with another top person. We have some people who just on their own sell cards, sons to their daughters, go and withdraw money from me and give the pin to them. Such pins, one they can children and that is one of them are that trust. They can give the information when they know that there is a lot of it's key. Although that I have from this information about the call, they will ask you to give them. We ask, what's that the last number of your account number you will use to update your we are working on your system now. If there is a problem with your account, all those things, don't be vulnerable to give them out. Ensure that their confirmations you can get to the bank, and that's why every customer must have what we call. You must have your officer know his number, know his name. No account is open in the bank without an account officer. Your account will be attacked to somebody. I know some of people out there does not know this. When you go to the bank, ask who is my account officer. So if you want to do anything, relay with him. If you don't hear anything about it from him, don't do anything unless you go to the bank yourself.
And if anything goes wrong, the account officer
Definitely,
will be answerable.
we are answerable.
Okay.
That's part of their duty. That's part of their responsibility to ensure that they give service to the customers.
This morning to enlighten us on what to do and what not to do on this program this morning. I want to thank you sincerely for coming.
Once again, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
All right, we've been engaging Mr. Isaac Arokun, FCIB Chairman, Chartered Institute of Bankers in Nigeria, Ogun State. Also to our callers this morning and to the production crew. We had as editor Idris Adelakon Adedoyin Bangbadi has been managing the ICT while Building Tijani produced. And this is the production of Shola Onide, Abiodun Tijani, studio manager, beg your pardon. And this is the production of Shola Onide. My name is Titilope Awobajo. Just stay blessed and have a